I just can't stop talking about video games, can't I? So we got two huge announcements yesterday. The first one was the Super Mario Galaxy movie trailer, or at least the first trailer for that. And then we got the 3 new products that are being released by Valve in early 2026. I was going to make a video talking about Mario Galaxy first, but I have a lot more to say about that than this, so, I just decided to put that on the back burner. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming you also watched the actual announcement video by Valve, so I'll keep this brief. Valve officially unveiled 3 new products: the Steam controller, the Steam machine, and the Steam frame. The Steam controller seems pretty self-explanatory. The Steam machine is actually a PC that is supposed to mimic, a more game console experience. They definitely made it seem like it was supposed to be sort of a mix between a PC and a game console. And finally, the Steam frame is Valve's new VR headset. I feel like I'm definitely underselling these 3 products a bit, but I just kind of wanted to get through what it is just so I could talk about how I feel about these. I think the first thing that I feel like talking about in this video is the Steam controller. I think it's pretty interesting. It's obviously, a video game controller, and it seems like a good one at that. You have the magnetic joysticks, which seem pretty cool. The battery life, I think, is about 35 to 38 hours. I think that's also pretty neat. I probably won't be using it for that long, but, it's good that it'll last, longer than a day. And then they also got this little device for it called, the puck. You can, use it to, connect to a device, or you can, actually, charge the controller with it, and I think that's actually pretty cool. I think the feature that makes this stand out against the rest are the 2 trackpads. I know the Steam Deck had these as well, and I don't have a Steam Deck, but I thought the idea of these 2 trackpads was really cool. They're pretty much there to mimic mouse controls and stuff, and I think it works really well for what this controller is trying to do, which is be compatible for a whole bunch of games, even those that aren't really compatible for a controller. And let me tell you, I've never been more happy to see these 2 on a controller in my life. I absolutely hate using keyboard and mouse to play PC games. I'm sorry, I just can't. I don't fuck with it. I don't know, I've never really seen the appeal of playing, 3D games at least with a keyboard and mouse. I would prefer playing, 3D games with a device specifically made for 3D games in mind. If I'm playing Terraria, fine, that's a 2-dimensional experience. You can only go left and right, up and down, stuff like that. But in games Minecraft, where you're looking around and stuff, and you can move a full 360 degrees and stuff, I'd rather use just a stick. And I'm very glad that Valve is making a controller that appeals to the annoying people like me who absolutely refuse to use a keyboard and mouse for games. Having this would kind of open the door for other games that I have in my Steam library that I just haven't touched, like Gmod. The only thing I'm really worried about in terms of the trackpads themselves is the placement of them. They're right below the joysticks and the face button and the D-pad and stuff, but they reposition the joysticks in a way that I don't think I've ever seen before. I don't know if that would affect my enjoyment of using this controller if I had it, because I'm sort of just used to the joysticks being further below the buttons and D-pad versus next to them. I'm willing to bet that Valve did a lot of testing in terms of the design of this controller, so I'm willing to bet that this will actually be pretty seamless and comfortable during gameplay. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Moving away from the trackpads, we have these 4 buttons in the back of the controller, and I'm not really a huge fan of, buttons on the back of controllers like this. Although thankfully there's custom binding, so I'm hoping that I could just have them be bound to nothing, so I could just kind of press them without having to worry about it. Although I am glad that it's there for, the people that do like that type of stuff. I think it's also cool that these things can connect to the Steam Deck as well. I was always curious if local multiplayer was possible on a Steam Deck because, obviously it's just one controller with a screen on it, but I like how this pretty much answered that question and also say, hey, this thing compare with the Steam Deck. It adds an extra layer of accessibility to it, Now, I'm gonna go out of order and talk about the Steam frame before talking about the Steam machine, because I have a lot more to say about that than this. I think the Steam frame is pretty cool. I don't want to undersell it. It's just that I'm not, the biggest fan of VR. It's just not really my thing. But a lot of what was shown off in this seemed pretty neat. It seems like the power of this VR headset is definitely going to be an upgrade from a lot of the other stuff that you can find in the market right now. Both of the little controller things actually have like a proper like D-pad and like 4 face buttons and stuff, which I don't think I've really seen before, so that's pretty nice. I like how they say that the sticks are pretty much the same as the ones on the Steam controller. It really sort of hammers in the fact that this is a more, premium product. In the video, they mentioned that this thing is also technically a PC, so like, that's also pretty cool, but I also don't really see why it would have to be one. I mean, that's cool, but like, could you imagine like trying to do your taxes on like a VR headset? I mean, you could play a whole bunch of VR and non-VR games on this thing, so I guess being able to play like video games without having like any other like distractions near you, like that sounds pretty cool. And the streaming part seems pretty neat too. I'm not really all that experienced in streaming stuff from a headset to a computer or like any other device, but I have a roommate that actually tried doing that, and it was kind of a 2-pack of ass, so this is definitely a net positive for the product. But enough about that. I want to talk about the Steam machine because, oh my god, this thing looks so cool. I'm usually not a big fan of like really simple designs for, machines like this, but oh my god, this thing looks so clean. I love how it's essentially like a cube with like a few ports and like a line, like an LED line. Like that just looks like it. I don't know what it is. It just looks very cool. I guess it just boils down to the fact that this design is very simple, and yet it's like practically a gaming PC. I say practically because even though this thing is technically a PC, it's definitely made more for people that just like, the simple experience of a game console. Because the thing with an Xbox or like a PlayStation is that you kind of just turn it on and then you select whatever game you have and then you're just set. I mean, it's kind of like that for PCs as well, but like you have to go through like this ridiculous startup. You also have to like put in your password if you have one for your computer. And then you probably have like a whole bunch of other programs that just sort of popped up. So you have to like close all those tabs before like either opening up like Steam or like the Epic Games Store. But honestly, I really don't know who even uses that shit for like anything other than Fortnite. But with the Steam Deck and also this new Steam machine, you just turn it on and like just choose a game. It really seems that simple, at least according to, this video. But I think it's also really important that they noted that there is a desktop mode and that you could also download other stuff onto this. So even though this PC is mostly, for video games and stuff, it's still a PC at the end of the day. This point is made a little more clear on the website, where it also says, quote, "Who are we to tell you how to use your computer?" Yeah, I think Microsoft and Apple should really take a few notes. Like, it's just so cool that, like, you have this little cube that is made to play video games, but could also do, like, almost anything else like your average PC could do. And you just have, like, the freedom to, like, do whatever you want with it. Like, this applies for the Steam Deck, too. You can download, like, Windows and Linux on this thing. You can customize things like the startup on the Steam Deck, or, like, even, like, the little front of the console itself on the Steam machine. And this thing is also apparently crazy powerful, too. Like, I think in the video it said that it was 6 times more powerful than the Steam Deck. And I remember the Steam Deck being, very, like, powerful, at least, like, at the time. So that times 6 is something I'm sure can't be scoffed at. The website itself also has the actual specs of the Steam machine itself. Now, I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a tech wizard, but from what I've heard, this thing is somewhat more powerful than the Xbox Series S, but not more powerful than a PS5. And I can't really say that I'm too bummed about that. Like, if I were to buy this thing, it sucks that, it wouldn't be on par with my PS5, but, like, it's still pretty powerful. It's definitely more powerful than this piece of shit I have here. So if it's on par with like a Series S and you're able to do all this shit with it, like I really can't complain all that much. Just as long as this thing can do the things that I wanted to do and do it well, I'm a happy camper. Or at least I would be if it was worth the price. At the time of me recording this, there has not been any like certified price tags for any of these products. Although I know there's a lot of speculation on what the prices for these things will be. I'm kind of willing to take their word for it because they know a lot more about this shit than I do. I've heard claims that the model with 512 gigabytes would probably be around, like, I'd say maybe $600, $800. And then the 2 terabyte model would probably be like around like $1,000 or so. However, those are just the estimates, and there is a possibility that Valve will just throw a curveball at us and just make these either less or more expensive. I'm really hoping for less expensive, but I'm not holding my breath on that. I'm less concerned on price for the Steam controller and the Steam frame, like especially the Steam frame, but I'm imagining the controller would probably cost like around like $90. Again, Valve could make it less expensive, but like I honestly expect it to be around like $90 or more. And I have no idea how much the Steam frame could go for, and I really have not been hearing anybody talking about it. Everybody just seems to be focused on the Steam machine in particular, and I can't blame them. Although these are launching in early 2026, so I'm hoping we can get some answers sooner rather than later. If I can actually afford a Steam machine, I think I'll probably have that be like my main PC. I have this gaming laptop that I've had for about 5 years, and then I also have this MacBook which I got, I think, 2 years ago. The gaming laptop was good for what I wanted it to do at the time, but it's definitely showing its age. And the MacBook is very good at literally everything else besides video games. If I'm able to get a Steam machine, I'll probably keep the MacBook and just ditch the gaming laptop altogether. And then at some point after buying the Steam machine, I'll buy the controller. It's not really a priority though, I have plenty of controllers that work well enough. But all in all, I'm really looking forward to at least the Steam machine and the Steam controller. The Steam frame seems pretty cool. I very much hope that these are actually worth a damn, because it would be a real shame if all the hype was for nothing. That's all the time I got to talk about these for today. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on that little bell notification, share the video with all your friends, and comment down what you think about all 3 of these. I'm Jarze, and until next time, peace.